Cora used to think the world was small, not because she had seen all of it, but because everything she knew fit inside the boundaries of the plantation. The fields. The quarters. The big house. That was it. That was life. And beyond that, nothing that mattered. Or at least, that's what she had been taught. Every morning began the same way. Before the sun even rose, there was movement. Not loud. Not chaotic. Just quiet resignation. Bodies waking up because they had to, not because they wanted to. Cora would sit up slowly, her muscles already aching before the day even began. Sometimes she would stare at her hands. Rough. Cracked. Dirt pressed into every line. "These don't feel like mine," she whispered once, almost absent-mindedly. The woman beside her glanced over. "What did you say?" Cora shook her head quickly. "Nothing." Because saying things out loud was dangerous. Thinking them was already risky enough. The air outside always carried the same smell: dust, sweat, and something heavier. Something unspoken. Fear. It lingered everywhere. In the way people avoided eye contact. In the way conversations stopped the moment a white man walked by. In the way silence was safer than truth. Cora had learned that lesson early. Don't draw attention. Don't ask questions. Don't expect anything. Expectations led to disappointment. Disappointment led to pain. And pain was something she had already had enough of. Still, there was one thought that refused to leave her. Her mother. Mabel. Even years later, the name felt like something fragile in her chest. She remembered small things. The way her mother's voice sounded when she said her name. The way her hand felt firm, steady. And then, nothing. Just absence. "Why didn't you take me?" Cora whispered one night, her voice barely audible in the darkness. She imagined her mother standing there, listening. "I would have come," she continued. "I wouldn't have slowed you down." Silence. "I would have tried harder," she said, her throat tightening. But no matter how many times she asked, the answer never came. Over time, the question changed. It stopped being "why didn't you take me?" and became, "why wasn't I worth taking?" That thought stayed with her longer than anything else. Longer than the hunger. Longer than the exhaustion. Longer than the fear. It shaped her. Turned her into someone who didn't rely on anyone. Didn't trust anyone. Didn't need anyone. Or at least, that's what she told herself. Because needing someone meant they could leave. And she had already learned how that felt. The plantation made sure no one forgot their place. Punishments weren't just about discipline. They were about control. About reminding everyone what happened when you stepped out of line. One afternoon, the air was unbearably hot. The kind of heat that made breathing feel like work. Cora stood in the field, her hands moving automatically, picking cotton without thinking. Until a scream cut through the silence. Everyone froze. Not because they wanted to, but because they couldn't help it. The sound carried across the fields, sharp and raw. Cora didn't turn at first. She didn't want to see. But curiosity, or maybe something deeper, forced her to glance over. A man was being punished. She couldn't see his face clearly, but she could see enough. The way his body moved. The way it didn't move after a while. "Keep working," someone shouted. Cora looked back down at her hands. But her fingers had stopped moving. Her chest felt tight. "Keep working," she whispered to herself, forcing her hands to move again. Because stopping was not an option. That night, she couldn't sleep. The sound of that scream stayed with her. Echoing. Repeating. She turned onto her side, staring into the darkness. "This is all there is," she murmured. No one responded. No one ever did. Days blended into each other. Until something changed. A new arrival. Caesar. At first, he didn't stand out much. Just another face. Another body in the field. But there was something different about him. Cora noticed it in the way he looked at things. Not with defeat, but with awareness. Like he was studying the world, instead of accepting it. It made her uneasy. One evening, as the sky dimmed and the air cooled slightly, he approached her. "You're Mabel's daughter," he said quietly. Cora stiffened instantly. Her eyes snapped toward him. "Don't say her name," she said, her voice sharp. Caesar didn't flinch. "I didn't mean." "Then don't," she cut him off. There was a pause. Then he nodded. "All right." He should have walked away. Most people would have. But he didn't. "I heard what she did," he added after a moment. Cora let out a dry laugh. "What, leave? Escape," he corrected gently. The word hung between them. Heavy. Uncomfortable. "Same thing," Cora said, turning away. "No," Caesar said. "It's not." Cora hesitated. Something about the way he said it made her listen. There's a difference, he continued. One is giving up. The other is fighting back. Cora turned back toward him slowly. And which one do you think she did? Caesar met her gaze. I think she fought. Cora stared at him for a long moment. Then shook her head. You don't know anything about her. You're right, he said. I don't. Another pause. But I know something else. Cora folded her arms. What? There's a way out. Her heart skipped. Just once. Then steadied again. People always say that, she replied. This time it's real, Caesar said. She almost laughed. Almost. What way? She asked. The Underground Railroad. Cora frowned. That's a story. No, he said quietly. It's not. She studied his face. Looking for doubt. For hesitation. She didn't find any. Even so, she shook her head. Even if it is real, she said, people who run don't get far. Some don't, Caesar admitted. And the others? They don't come back. Cora exhaled slowly. That doesn't mean they made it. No, he said. But it means they tried. The word tried lingered in her mind long after he walked away. Tried. It sounded so simple. So small. And yet, it felt impossible. Because trying meant risking everything. And Cora wasn't sure she had anything left to risk. But the thought stayed. It followed her through the fields. Through the long nights. Through the silence. Until it became something she couldn't ignore. And then, the moment came. A punishment. Closer this time. Louder. More real. Cora stood there, watching, her chest tightening with every second. Something inside her shifted. Not suddenly. Not violently. But permanently. That quiet voice returned. This is your life. This is how it ends. Unless. She turned away before it was over. Her steps were faster than usual. More certain. She found Caesar that night. I'll go, she said. He looked at her carefully. Are you sure? No, she admitted. He nodded. That's enough. The night they ran felt unreal. Every sound was louder than it should have been. Every shadow deeper. Stay close, Caesar whispered. I am, she replied, though her voice shook. They moved carefully. Quickly. Until. A shout. They're running. Everything exploded into motion. Go. Caesar urged. They ran. Faster than she thought she could. Fear pushed her forward. Then. A figure stepped into their path. Stop. Cora didn't think. Didn't hesitate. And when it was over. She stood there, shaking. I didn't mean, she started. We don't have time, Caesar said, pulling her forward. They kept running. Because stopping meant everything ended. When they finally reached the entrance. Cora could barely breathe. This is it, she asked. This is it, Caesar confirmed. The door opened. Darkness spilled out. Cold. Unfamiliar. Inviting. And terrifying. Cora hesitated. Just for a second. Then stepped forward. Because there was nothing left behind her. Only forward. Always forward.